Hello and welcome to Console Cowboys. So after my last video, Pancake hit me up and let me know they actually do have a version of Cutter for Radare2 still, and it's called Iaito. I'm not sure if I'm saying that correctly, but Iaito is an official graphical user interface of Radare2. It's the continuation of Cutter for Radare2 after the Rizin fork. So this runs on Linux, Mac OS, Windows, and it's off of the Qt framework. So I took a look at this really quickly and kind of compared it. It's very, very similar. You can hop over and check out the releases. So there's a Mac, there's a Windows, and there's a Deb. I grabbed the Deb. It's actually pretty easy to install. All I did was a sudo dpackage -i and then the name of the file that I downloaded. Now granted, I believe you also need to have Radare2 already installed. And for example, within the notes, it said that if you already had the Ghidra plugin for the decompilation, then it would automatically work. I already had that, so it just worked for me. So after I installed that, all I did was type in Iaito and load it right up. Now I had some kind of error here. I'm not sure exactly, probably just the way that I installed it, or maybe because I'm on an older version, because with Radare2, you basically want to keep updating all the time. And this is not within an app image like Cutter is, so you need to make sure that you have all your stuff updated. So if I just hit OK, it still loads up just fine. And like before, it's very similar here interface because it's from the same fork. And it pre-saved my a.out file, so I could just double click that. You also have your AAA here for the auto analysis, and you can adjust these at will and change the settings if you want. So we're just gonna do it exactly the way we did before. Now, much like the other one, we start out on our main window and we get your basic information about our binary, right? Our hashes, ELF64, etc. We can click on the main window here and we get our disassembly. We can also grab our graph view here, no problem. And we can also do the decompiler. So if you click over on the side here, let's see, it takes a minute to load up, but the PDG here is actually my Ghidra decompiler. So it looks similar, although I'm not seeing the highlighting. It's the syntax highlighting. So it'd be nice to have that added in. Might be something they're working on. They also have R2Dec by default in here and PDC. Now, I don't 100% know if all of those are installed. I know the Ghidra one is not by default. It's because I already have that plugin installed from a previous video, and I'm not 100% sure if these others are the same story. But if they don't automatically load in for you, then just install them via the Ghidra plugin video that I had before, and any other plugins you can install the same way, and they should populate within here if I'm correct. These also, function similar. So if we hop into the disassembly here, maybe I'll go over to the graph and say I hop into check password and I say, okay, what are my X references? I can hit X here, loads that up, and it says, right here, it hops me back right into the main. So that's the same exact way as the other interface. And all these other things act similar too, right? So I can type in granted here and get this access granted. And then if I double click on here, I'll hop right in here where this string is. I can also do my imports and check those out if they're in here. We have the Hex Dump, which is going to show us the Hex Dump of each of these functions. And we checked out the decompiler. So for the most part, these are all the same. I actually hopped in here to get dark mode. I think I had to go into the preferences here. So if you hop into preferences, I hopped in here and I did appearance and then interface, and you can change what you want it to be here. So there's like a couple different ones. So if I click that, it'll change it slightly. Now it's a little darker for the midnight. And there's some other settings in here as well. So this is very, very similar to Cutter, obviously, because it's a fork off. So these are probably going to go in different ways. I just wanted to show this because Pancake reached out to me to let me know that there actually still is an official UI, which is awesome to know. So depending which way you want to go, if you want to play with Rizins or if you want to play with R2s, it's available for both. Just understand how they function. One's an app image, one's from source. You can also do the source on the Rizin as well, but then just make sure that all of your packages are up to date by running the updates on R2, running the updates on this, and making sure everything is working, and installing the plugins that you want to use. Everybody, thank you for reaching out to me and letting me know about these new tools. I love checking them out and I love getting feedback. Thank you. So hopefully this was useful as we progress through different reverse engineering tutorials and learn a little bit more about these frameworks before we start getting into some other reverse engineering. If you learned something, like and subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next one.